Hope that you're all okay. Welcome to today's class, which is the longer one. And this one's called Finding Space in the Mind and the Body. And we're going to find space in different parts of the body today, in the chest and the front of the body, finding space in the back, finding space in the side bodies, which is one of my favourites, and finding space also in the legs and the hamstrings and the hips. So when we focus on that as space as our theme and feeling it through the physical body, it has a lovely effect on the mind, and it allows the mind to slow down and find a bit more space in there also. So for today's practice, grab whatever you need. If you've got a blanket, that's always handy, or a block or a brick. And if you've got a belt as well, grab a belt. And we'll come all the way down, move everything you don't need. And we're going to start off just finding a position down to the floor first. So rolling all the way down to the floor. And just taking a moment to let the body find a comfortable place. And you can keep the legs bent, or if it works, just slowly stretch one leg away and slowly stretch the other leg away. Let the legs become nice and heavy, and allowing our arms just to rest down by the sides of the body. Either a soft gaze, or if you can, closing the eyes just to start to bring some focus and attention inwards. So in our everyday life, there's always so many things to do. There's always so many jobs to do. Or people that they might need our help. And our attention is pulled often from one place to the other. And the yoga is that chance that we can just slow down. We can just focus simply on being and feeling the body. And by doing that, we create calmness. We create space in the mind. So just gently tuning in with your breath right now. And just see if you can notice anything about the breath without judging it. Notice where your breath is coming from right now. Notice where you feel any of the movement or the sensations of the breath. And just notice the speed that you're breathing at right now. And if it's fast, don't worry, it will start to slow down with the practice. If it feels a bit of a struggle or quite hard to even just focus on the breath right now, know that that is fine too. You've got the whole practice now, that whole session, just your time to really connect with the body. Just use patience and ease to open up into spaces today. Begin to slowly breathe in and out through the nose. And just keep it very gentle first of all, as if you was just easing into the breath with kindness and ease. And feeling we're not in a hurry to do anything first of all. We're just simply connecting to more of the sensations of the breath. Maybe in your own time, as you breathe in through the nose, can you follow that breath to that very last bit of the inhale? And then the same with the exhale. As you breathe out without straining, just follow it right to that very end of your exhale. And continue to do that. Have that feeling of finding space by just following it all the way to that very end of your inhale. And following it all the way to that very end of your exhale. And then begin to notice where that breath actually starts now. Following it all the way to that end of that inhale. Notice where that exhale begins to start. Follow it all the way to that very end of that breath. And notice the start, that very start of the inhale. So beginning to work with more space by noticing both the start and the end of both your inhale and the exhale. So we're working with our comfortable length of the breath just to that start and the end of it. And this is a wonderful practice when you're feeling stressed, when you want to invite some calmness. You can do this practice. It can be anywhere. It can be when you're sitting for a few minutes in the car, when your car's stopped, or even when you're in traffic. Maybe you're shopping and you're getting a bit stressed, maybe in the queue, maybe you're in a hurry and a rush. And there's nothing you can do about that, so you could maybe just change that focus to finding space and length in your breath. Just a couple more of these. And it really trains the focus to move inwards by noticing that start and the end of each parts of the breath. And those last couple of ones, as you breathe in, just hold that breath in for a moment, feel space. And then as you breathe out, when you get to that end of that exhale, pause there for a few moments, feel space here too. Last one, breathing in. Once you're comfortably full, hold the breath in for a moment. And notice that first bit of the exhale as you breathe out. Last bit of the breath till the lungs are empty. For a moment, hold that breath out. And then go back to natural breath. Let the legs bend. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Take your knees and your feet just a little way apart and just begin to take a slow rock from side to side. Easing into the back, just feeling the hips get a nice release from here. And then taking the feet to the floor, legs bent, arms T-shape or cactus arms, and dropping the knees to the right, head to the left. And breathing in, feel full of life as you breathe in. And breathing out, just let anything release and let go on your out breath. Breathing in, feel the space of that inhale as you come back. And breathing out, feel how you can just soften and release a little bit more. Just doing it a couple more times in your own time. Just really connecting to the breath today and what that breath feels like, how it benefits not only your physical body but also in the mind as well. Last one. And then coming back to the centre, hugging your right knee in towards your chest. And you can extend your left leg, if it works, you can extend your left leg away from you. Take a few breaths from here. If it works, keep hold of your knee with your left hand and you can extend your right arm behind you. Just to create a bit more space as you breathe. Back of the hand can come to the floor. And then take the hand back. Let your hands move behind the back of your thigh now. And as you inhale, extend your right leg up towards the sky and continue to breathe from here. And just feeling, visualise space that you're creating around the back of the leg. You can allow yourself to point your toes And draw your toes towards you. So breathing in, point your toes. Breathing out, toes towards you. Maybe move that leg closer towards you on the exhale. Breathing in, pointing your toes. Breathing out, letting your toes come towards you, holding it here. If it works, you're going to start to slowly walk your hands up from here. And just work towards today the space. You want space in your shoulders still. You want space in the back of the leg. And if that means bending it more, gives you more space, absolutely fine. Navel draws in, and if it feels all right, we're going to lift the head up towards your knee from here. You might encourage the leg towards you. And this is often, sometimes when tension could creep in. So can you still relax into the pose? Can the shoulders relax? Can the neck and the head still feel quite supported in this pose? And then slowly let your heads come back from here. Bending your knee back towards your chest. And then allowing that foot to come down to the floor. And let your left leg bend. Hug the knee in towards the chest. If it feels an option, then we can lengthen your left leg away from you. Take a few breaths from here. And this time holding still with that leg on the knee with the right hand. Your left leg is going to extend behind you, back of the hand onto the floor. And just start to feel that you're opening up into the armpit. Into around the back of the shoulder. And as you inhale, really focus on the space that that inhale brings. And the exhale, how we can soften and release more into the pose. Feeling the space that we create within each posture. And taking your hands back to that knee. You can take your hands behind the leg now. And as you inhale, we'll lift up that leg. If you need to rebend the other leg, you can rebend it. That's fine. So as you inhale, we're going to point your toes. And as you breathe out, toes towards you, maybe ease the leg a little bit closer in. Inhale, pointing the toes. Exhale, toes towards you, maybe ease the leg in closer. One more, inhale to point. Exhale to allow the toes towards you. And then we'll start to slowly take that walk up from here. And just try to do it to the point where you can still think about space. So you don't want to walk them as high up if you're going to create tension and stress. You want to think about space today. And space behind the back of the legs. Space around your shoulders, shoulders relaxing. Can you create space in the face by relaxing the skin on the forehead and the cheeks? Either holding it here or drawing the navel in and lifting the head up from here. Can you be spacious with the breath? Check in with your breath. Have you still got a sense of ease and calmness with the breath? It might need a few focus moments just to bring it back. And then slowly let your head come back. You can start to walk your hands back from here. Allowing that leg to bend, allowing the other leg to bend from here. Let the arms move down by the sides of the body, walking our feet in a little bit closer for our bridge pose from here. And we're going to do both the lifting the hips and the arms at the same time. If it's not going to work with the arms, just keep them down. So as we inhale, squeezing the pelvic muscles as we lift up. And then we're lifting the arms up. Try to match it up so they come behind right at that end of that inhale. And then as you exhale, let your movement match up so the arms come down right on that very end bit of your exhale. So inhale, it's lasting as if we're using the arms, matching them up. When they reach the floor, that's that last bit of your inhale. And exhale, lowering back down. And you're just going to do a couple more in your own time, following that breath to that very end of your inhale. Noticing where that exhale starts, bringing the arms down until that very last bit of breath comes all the way out. Just last one from here. And exhale, finding that very last bit, the space that you're creating behind the breath. Hugging the knees in towards the chest, just taking a slow rock from side to side from here. And then roll yourself over onto one side, coming all the way up from here. Come into an easy seated position with our legs crossed or our legs lengthened out. We're going to take the arms out to the side. We're going to take a side bend stretch, right hand down, left arm lifts up. And as we breathe out, arm comes up and over. You can bend more into that arm. You might be more straight. You might even be more lifted up. And as if you're creating space all around that left side of the body. So let it feel spacious and let your breath move into that space from here. Just a couple more breaths. And then coming all the way back up. Before we do the other side, just pause for a moment. Just notice maybe any differences between the side that you've just opened up, left side to the right side. Planting your left hand down to the floor. We'll lift up that right one. And then as we breathe out, we'll take it up and over and explore. Either you move the hands away from you. You might come up higher up. Some of us might even come more down onto the forearm. We're all going to be feeling something a little bit different in the poses. So see if you can take the one that allows you to feel a sense of ease, but also a sense of spaciousness into that right side body. And just let your breath, as if you're using your breath to start to help to open up that space even more. And then slowly allowing ourselves to lift all the way back up from here. From here we're going to take the arms out, we're going to sweep them behind us, interlocking the fingers. And we're just going to take a moment maybe to take a little roll back of the shoulders from here. And we're just going to breathe into the front body, into the lungs, into the chest, letting the heart feel fully released and open from here. Some of us might be just keeping the hands touching to the lower back. Some of us might be moving your hands away from the body. Some of us might even, if you haven't got any back issues, you might even think about your knuckles and as if you was just drawing them further down towards the earth. Couple of breaths from here and then slowly releasing out, just releasing your shoulders, feeling you've created some space. And then we'll lengthen your legs out from here, so give them a nice lengthen out. Take your hands behind you, so a bit of a distance between the body and the hands. You can either keep the fingers pointed in or out to the sides if that felt better. Let the legs just become heavy and relaxed and lifting up, opening up into the front body. You might need to soften slightly into the shoulders. And as you breathe, allow that breath to fill into the front body from here. Letting the shoulders relax as well. And then slowly allowing ourselves to come back. We'll come into a forward bend stretch, so legs lengthens from here. Move it maybe onto the sit bones or using a blanket to sit on. Before you come too far forward, we're going to think about lengthening first of all. So nice and lifted, hands by your legs from here. Take a breath in As you breathe out, coming forward, but try to keep your chest and your heart lifted. You can either have the arms down by the sides of the body or hands onto the feet. So without lowering down too much, we want to get a good stretch onto that lower spine from here. Shoulders are relaxing. And visualise from here all that lovely space that you're creating into the back body from here. As if you use your breath, you might even focus your breath into the back body. And then for the last few rounds of breath, then you could come forward, you can release, and you might take your awareness to the upper body now. So around where your upper back is, you might feel really nice releasing your shoulder blades. That's often what I feel when I come forward from here. I can feel it as if any tight spots of the upper body are just getting a nice release from here. A couple of easy breaths. And then lifting the head, walk your hands back from here. You're going to bend the legs, bring the soles of your feet together and just see what's going to work for you. Either forward or in slightly. I'm going to keep just a couple of hands distance between my hands today. And you're going to just lift up from here. Then you might come forward just a little way so that you can create space in your spine again, space in the front body. Either have the hands around the feet, or you might even take your fingertips, extending them out. Make sure that you're not straining your heads from here. And as we create space in the body, we create a calm space for the breath to be. And then we allow the mind maybe just to slow down and connect more with the breath and more with the body. If it worked again, you might allow yourself to come forward from here. You might notice more rounding over into the shoulders and the shoulder blades. That's fine as well. And then slowly let yourself lift up, walking the hands back, helping the knees, easing the back from here. And just dropping the knees to one side and let yourself roll over onto an all fours from here. So allowing our hands to take a good position by spreading the hands. So we've created space in your hands and the joints, knees underneath the hips from here. You're going to take an inhale, let your tailbone lift, let the front of the body, let your head lift. You can gaze up. And as you breathe out, rounding over, gaze back through the legs. Inhale to come through for our second round. Breathing out, rounding over. Last one, try to lengthen the breath. So inhale, follow it to that very last bit of your inhale. And exhale, rounding over, follow it to your last bit of your exhale. When you're empty, when the exhale's out, just hold it for a few moments and then soften and release. You're going to inhale as you breathe out. You're going to draw your right shoulder towards the right hip. Don't strain your head. And inhale, coming back. As you breathe out, left shoulder towards left hip. And then coming back. We'll go one more each side. Breathe in as you breathe out. Right shoulder towards right hip. And inhale to come back. And as you breathe out, left shoulder towards left hip. And then coming back. Press yourself back to the heels. And then you can take your arms forward for more of an active child's pose. Let your head release down to the floor. If it's an option, you can keep the arms lifted away from the floor. If you need to soften, just bend them, bring them back down to the floor. And just settle for a moment, feeling space in the back of the body. And as if you was just able to send your attention and your breath to the back of the body. And the breath's going to help to find more space to open up. Just to get into any tight spots of the body that we all sometimes find we accumulate in the body over time, maybe through stress, maybe through activities that we do. And then slowly allowing yourself to walk your hands back from here. You're going to tuck the toes. We're going to lift up into downward dog from here. Just walk out through your legs first of all. Taking the time just to stretch one, rebend the other leg, and then keep swapping over. And then settling down from here. Head, ears is lined with the shoulders. And you feel that your hips are just gently lifting up, back of the hips. You might like the image as if you had trousers on and someone got the back of your trousers and just lifting them up towards the sky. That's a feeling that you want to create in your downward dog pose. And then allowing yourself to come forwards and either bringing the knees to the floor first of all for a half plank pose, or coming straight from legs length, and so shoulders forward of the wrists. And then just gazing slightly forward. You're going to really work towards drawing in the navel from here. Feeling space in the front of the body and the back. Try to breathe nice and calm. Let the knees come down, release the feet. And then bending the arms, let yourself lower all the way down to the floor. And then either keep your hands underneath your shoulders or bring them forward, bring your arms down if you're going to do Sphinx as an alternative one. You're going to inhale, slowly lift. If you've come to Cobra, make it a baby Cobra, elbows pointing backwards. And wherever you are, start to feel some space in your chest, some opening up into the back body. And then slowly lower down from here. Do it again. We breathe in, lifting up. You can take that baby Cobra again, or your arms into Sphinx. Space you're creating in the chest, space in the back of the body. And then slowly lower down. We'll make this your last one. So either Sphinx or Cobra lifting up. And if it's available for you today, if you want to come up further, lifting up into the arms. Make sure you not lock out the arms. Think about space today. So rather than feeling tight in the body, just open up to the space of that posture. And then lowering all the way down. Hands underneath the shoulders. Move yourself back to your all fours. Keep the toes tucked. Bring some weight back towards the heels. Lifting your knees, lifting up into downward dog. Just spending a couple of breaths again, maybe having that image that someone had hold of the back of your trousers and they were just as if they were pulling you up. So you feel the hips just slowly lifting up more. And then softening the knees, walking forwards, coming all the way to your hands on the hips. Lifting up, coming all the way up to standing. Going to come straight into a forward fold. So allow yourself to hands onto your hips, feet a little way apart. Hinging at the hips, softening the knees. Really taking your time to hinge forwards. Just coming halfway. Let your hands rest on your shins or fingertips. Or if you've got long arms, you can take them to the floor. And as you inhale, lifting up halfway, feel the space in your chest and your back. And exhale, soften and fold, let your head release. Coming forward again, inhale, lifting up halfway. And exhale, soften and fold. Do one more, inhale to lift up halfway. And then exhale, soften and fold. Head's nice and heavy. We'll take a twist, so do use your block if your hand doesn't reach the floor. Left hand down to the floor, in front of the feet in the centre. Right hand into the hip, and we're going to bend slightly into that left leg. Twist towards the right side and allow the arm to lengthen from here. You might find that you bend more into that leg to just open up into that twist. Or some of us might then find that we lengthen more into it to create some space around the back of the legs. And then slowly release, swapping hands, right hand is down, bend into the left leg, left hand onto the hip, twist towards your left side. If it works, let the arm lift up. You might find that you bend more into that leg just to get into that twist. Or you might explore what happens if we lengthen more into that right leg to find space, more space around the back of the legs. Releasing down, hands on the hips, and you can lift yourself all the way up to standing from here. And we'll take our feet to centre of the mat, long sides of the mat, and we'll open out the feet, hands onto the hips, right foot turning it out, left foot in slightly, working our triangle pose so the arms are lifted, gazing towards that right side, breath in, and as we breathe out we're going to stretch towards that right side, and then taking that bottom hand down, top arm up. And you want to feel today you're lengthening into the sides of the body. Often this underside, the right side, gets forgotten. So you might need to just move a bit so that you find that you lengthen that side as well. Either keep the arm lifted or palm towards you. And if it works, you can take that arm up and over to get an even deeper stretch into that right side of the body. Use your breath as if each breath allows that space to open up a little bit more. Let the hands come back, soften the knees. Use your arms to lift them up to come all the way up. Feet to the front and hands meet back to the hips. And turning your left foot all the way out. Right foot in slightly. Let the arms lift up, palms down. Letting the gaze look past that middle finger of that right left hand. Inhale, and as you breathe out, we're going to stretch towards that left side. Bottom hand's going to come down, top arm's going to lift. And you want to make sure in this pose that you're not coming forwards, so it is a side bend stretch. And just see if you can focus. You'll feel a great stretch on that right side of the body. Think about the left side as well, so you might need to just move a bit so that you find a stretch also into that left side of the body. Either stay here or take that arm up and over with the palm down to get an even deeper stretch into that side of the body. And as if you're just directing that breath into that right side, feeling all that lovely space. Head down, the arms are going to help us, that leg's going to bend, and we'll lift all the way up from here. And feet to the front, hands on the hips. And then allowing yourself to take your feet a little bit wider from here. Right foot's going to come out, left leg is forward. And we're going to bend into that leg. And we're going to take an extended side angle stretch. So lifting up the arms into warrior first. Plant the feet firmly down. So really feel your roots and your connection. You're going to bend your right arm, resting it onto that thigh. And the top arm's going to lift up. We can either keep it lifted or taking that arm up and over. Can you find your roots, your connection with that left foot? So where your little toe is, really try to press it down in towards the earth. And as if you was creating a really nice line of energy from the little side of the foot right up to the knee, the hip, the shoulder and the fingertips, filling all that space. And then using your arms, lifting all the way up. Always quite a strong posture, that one. Hands on the hip, feet to the front. We'll take it to the other side. Left foot turns out. Right foot, just keep it forward. Just taking our time as we find the foundations of the posture by bending into the leg, rooting back with that back foot, let the arms lift from here, gaze over that middle finger. Just take a moment to feel space in your chest. Can you even, without too much of a movement, just feel that every breath gives you a bit more space into the front of the body and the chest. Bend your left leg, rest it onto that left thigh. Lift your arm up and you can take it up and over, palm down. Just do what's right for the head, don't strain the head. And then with your right foot this time, can you think about where your little toe is? Press that edge down so you really connect down. You're not rolling in on that heel. And then think about the line of energy that is created from your little toe to the knee, to the hip, to your shoulder, to the wrist, right out to the fingertips. And then slowly lifting all up. Shaking's allowed in that posture as well. It is quite strong. Hands onto the hips from here. We're going to come forward, so make sure you've got enough room to come forward. If your legs are overly wide, maybe just stepping them in a little bit closer. Feet forward or big toes in slightly, as that allows really nice release for the hips. Going to take your hands behind you, interlock your fingers and roll your shoulders back. Don't be in a rush, just pause for a moment. Breathing into the space around your chest, your rib cage. You might be feeling it in the sides of your ribs as well. And then softening the knees, you're going to start to slowly come forward from here, hinging at the hips. Taking our time, keep plugging the sides of the feet into the earth as if you're lifting your inner arches. And then you might take the arms up and over, or they might stay onto your lower back from here. Just a couple of breaths. Can you feel, even though your shoulders are coming over, can you move them away from the ears, back slightly? Let your hands come to your lower back, release them, catch hold of opposite elbows. And take a moment to just gently move and sway from one side to the other. And as you sway to one side, feel the opposite side getting a nice stretch from here. Let the head be nice and heavy. And then slowly releasing. You can take the hands down to the floor and all we're going to do is heel, toe, the feet back, coming back into a forward fold from here. Heavy head. And then taking the hands on the hips, we're going to lift and come all the way up to standing. We're going to just take a nice hip opening balance today. So bringing your right leg up, drawing the right knee towards you from here. You can take it slightly lower down. You can take it to the floor as well. That's an option too. And then left hand onto the hip, and you can open out into that leg from here. If you've got it on the floor, you'll be kind of in this position from here just to get a nice release into that hip. If it worked, some of us might take the toe or the ankle, or you can use your belt if you needed. If it felt good, you might lengthen your leg from here. All different options, so just explore what works. You might take the gaze to the opposite side too, your shoulder just to ease into that side, to challenge your balance even more. Head back, just start to bend that leg. Bring the knee back and take the foot down to the floor. Release the legs if you need to. And then hands on the hips. Your left leg is going to lift up from here. Going to hug that knee in towards your chest. And then right hand onto the hip. We can open up into that knee, creating space around the hip joint. If your foot's to the floor, you'll be doing this position from here. And you might find that's enough, or you can take hold of ankle or foot, either hold it here, or maybe explore lifting into that leg. Now remember the space in your chest. Can you, doesn't matter how far that leg or whether the leg's lifted, can you keep space in your chest from here? You can always turn the gaze if you want to challenge your balance if it's not already been challenged enough. And then head back slowly, release the foot, knee back, and bring that foot back. And it's well welcomed when that foot comes down to the floor. Give them a good shake out the legs, just shake them out, bring the energy back into the legs. Return back to the front of the mat. Take a nice breath in. As we breathe in, we'll lift up, we can gaze up towards the hands. Breathing out, guide your hands back to the chest, bend in the legs, hands onto your shins. Take a nice full breath to lift up. And as you breathe out, slowly fold forward. Bend your legs, come all the way down to the floor. Dropping the knees to one side and extending out with your legs. So opening out your legs as comfortable as works for you. And do sit on a blanket if it's going to feel like it lifts you up a bit more. Take a nice few breaths and just enjoy just being here for a moment. In yourself, just take attention into the back of the legs. We're going to slowly start to come forward from here, like we did at the beginning of the class where we thought about in our forward fold Paschimottanasana, keeping the chest lifted. We're going to just stay here for a few breaths, first of all, with the chest nice and lifted. So think about the space that you can create in your hips, legs, front of the body, and your back body. And then if it works, you might fold forward. I'm going to let the head release from here. Just let the head be nice and heavy. And some of us might be, up quite a way. That's absolutely fine. Just try to think about space, letting go of any tension, any tightness from here. Lifting the head, walk your hands back. We're going to bend our right leg from here, and we're going to take your left hand onto the inside of that leg. We're going to hand on the hip. You're going to open up into bringing your shoulder back from here, and either holding it here or lifting up the arm. And then if it works, taking that arm up and over. But today, keep a good distance between your both hands, as if you're allowing yourself to visualise holding a big golden ball in that top hands, just gently taking the support onto it. The top arm, that shoulder blades moving back and down, and we're inviting a lovely stretch onto the right side of the body. Feeling space in the body, space in the breath, space in the mind. And then coming all the way back up, opening that leg back again into both legs nice and wide. Take a moment to come forward again into that posture. So hands maybe just onto the fingertips first of all, again lifting your chest. Feeling space as if you're allowing your heart to shine through. And then maybe just folding over, letting your head release down. Letting your attention move inwards as we either close the eyes or a soft gaze. And then slowly lifting up, walking your hands back from here. Bending your left leg, bring the sole of the foot into that leg. right hand, back of the hand and the arm onto that leg, left hand onto the shoulder as we open up. Remember, any back issues, you want to stay a lot higher up to support the back. You'll either slide the hand down or keep it up, and your top arm can lift. Try to press back into your left sit bone. Palm can face towards you, and you can take that arm up and over. Imagine again that you're holding a big, giant golden beach ball. You've got a bit of support for your top hand onto that ball. Just take that image, and you feel space between your hands. You feel space in the side body, and you use your breath to open up into that left side of the body. Couple more breaths. And then lifting all the way up from here. You can rebend that other leg back to cross legs. And then allow your legs to lift. Bring the legs bent, feet to the floor. Grab anything nice and warm for your relaxation. Arms reaching out, navel draws in, and slowly take a roll down or bring yourself down in your own way. All the way down to the floor, hugging the knees in towards the chest, just taking a gentle rock from side to side. Open out the arms, you can keep the knees in or feet to the floor. Come into a twist with the knees dropping to the right side and your head slowly turning towards your left. And just focus on your breath. Focus on the space that you feel in your chest. Allowing your breath just to move into any of those places that needs the breath right now. And easing the knees back to the centre. Drop your knees to the left side, letting your head slowly turn towards the right side. And just feel nice and spacious across your top chest, across the shoulders, out into the arms. Even let your fingers just soften and relax. Bringing yourself back. One more hug in with the knees towards your chest. And then release your legs. And either keep the legs bent or lengthen your legs out. Resting the arms down by the sides of the body or the hands on the hips. And begin to let the body become nice and heavy. All that space that we've created in the body, we might just feel it through our subtle energy flow right now. Even though we are still, you can still tune into the flow of our subtle energy. As you breathe in, you can visualise a bright golden light at the crown of our head. And as you breathe out, just feel it, just releasing soft, warm energy into the head, into the face. As you breathe in, you might visualise bright golden energy balls sitting at the top of your shoulders. And as you breathe out, feel them softening, releasing down to your arms, your forearms, your hands. As you breathe in, you can visualise a golden ball of energy at the top of your chest. And as you breathe out, feel that releasing down across your solar plexus, down towards your tummy. As you breathe in, visualise a bright golden energy light sitting around the navel area. And as you breathe out, feel it releasing down in towards your hips. As you breathe in, think about the back of your shoulder blades, maybe visualising 2 bright lights here. And as you breathe out, feel the softness down through the mid-back, right down to the lower back, right down towards your tailbone. As you breathe in, visualise bright golden energy balls around your hips areas, if they're just sitting onto the hips. And as you breathe out, feel them softening and releasing down the knees, the shins, the calves. As you breathe in, imagine 2 golden energy balls sitting at the tops of your ankles. And as you breathe out, feel the feet, the toes relaxing and softening. Just feeling the whole of the body soft, relaxed, light, full of space, where the energy can allow it to flow freely. Take your attention to the forehead and just feel this coolness across your forehead, soothing, ease in your mind. Just feeling you've got some more space. Maybe not so many thoughts right now, just feeling a sense of calmness. And then when you're ready, just let the fingers move about in your toes. Lift the arms, give them a gentle stretch behind you. Toes might be spreading. Just feel more spacious in the body. Let the arms release. Begin to bend the legs, hug the knees in towards the chest. Rocking gently from side to side. Let yourself roll over onto the right side. Maybe extend out with your right arm. Resting your head for a moment. And then slowly make your way up. Just mind the head. Allow it still to be quite heavy as we come all the way up to an easy seated position. Let your hands come together, bringing your palms in towards the heart centre. And as you breathe, feel the space across your chest, the front of the body, tuning into our own spaciousness and how we can use that to feel grounded and calm. Let your head softly bow down from here, honouring your own place of calmness, of truth, of light. Let the eyes blink open. And as you inhale, lift your head, lift your heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining me with the class today. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoy the rest of your day.